All right, welcome back to the 10th episode of Bullpen Talk. I'm here with my co-host Noah Spiegel, and then we have the Merrill brothers. So Jack Merril, I played baseball with for a year at Sewanee, and we have his brother Max that played college football at Texas for 4 years. So, we like starting it, asking you guys what got you to that position, and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Jack, you got
Yep.
it first.
Yep.
I'll go first. All right. So as you said, I'm Jack Merrill. I'm a right-handed pitcher at Sewanee going into my senior year. My road to Sewanee was kind of odd. I couldn't quite stay healthy in high school. I think I pitched probably less than like 12 innings total all 4 years. I had Tommy John my freshman year, missed my freshman and sophomore because of that, and then I had like a broken bone in my back my junior year. So I kind of somehow, some way, found my way onto a college roster. Played, unfortunately, only one season with this guy, Jack Rose, but it was a good season. And then I've been playing there ever since, and I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, so I played football just from a kid because I was a little bit larger than everybody else and I was a little slower, so I always played offensive line. Um, I kind of rode that into I played basketball and baseball for a little while. Jack was better than me at baseball, so I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. Hated it. So quit that and then freshman year of high school was pretty decent, and the coaches at the end of my freshman year were like, "We're going to have you start on varsity as a sophomore." So then quit basketball, did that, um, and got some offers starting my junior year. Eventually, I think I got up to like around 40-ish offers from D2 all the way to every division in Power Five at the time. And then eventually finally got the Holy Grail offer for me, which was Texas, because I was really interested in competitive football mainly. And then also I needed to use it to kind of segue into a degree that I otherwise probably couldn't have earned with test scores and GPA. So I immediately tried to segue that into McCombs, which I was lucky enough to do.
Yeah, and so you guys both play two different sports at two different levels. So I just want to hear about your daily life and routine that Merrill would have at 1 year. Merrill worked really hard. Jack did at Sewanee. I played with them uh, through absolute Chad. What are you sitting these days, Merrill? Like 88, 90, man?
Yeah, I've touched 92 this past season, but I'm hoping to get like a 93 or 94 this season if I do the right stuff this summer. But we'll see.
Yep. I mean, dude, yeah, it was tough stuff to hit, man. Arguably why I'm not playing baseball anymore. It probably was a me issue, but and then Max, you played at Texas as well, so yet alone that's a great accolade to have. So do you guys want to talk about your different routines and what you did to obviously get you to that the two different levels?
Yeah, I can do this one first. The football routine is really interesting compared to the baseball routine because it's really structured. I think you're structured until you're essentially in the NFL. And the NFL guys, it's either you can do it or you're not, and if not, you don't get paid. So that's kind of what motivates them. But for like college athletes and stuff, it was very, very structured because a lot of guys, you know, are not as didn't have structure in their life like kind of beforehand as much. So they kept it really, really strict. You're at this time you're here, and then later in the day you're here again, and again you're here. Like fall camp was 18-hour day. You had somewhere to be for all 18 hours for I don't know 2 weeks. So that was pretty brutal. But I mean everything was kind of done in season by like morning time. I would always keep my body right with like some stretching and stuff, and contrast tubs after practice. But I wasn't kind of a big into that. I had a lot of school to do, compared to some other people, who were just not doing as tough of majors as compared to what I had going on. But yeah, that was kind of just the routine. Get up at like 6 a.m., practice, lift, class, probably a nap just because you're just exhausted at that point, homework, and repeat all over again.
Yep. I mean, Merrill, Jack, you wanna take us through about like what you did for
Yeah, I
your
want to hear the
routine?
Sewanee lifestyle, man.
Mine's a
Yeah,
little
let's
different.
hear it, man.
Little different. So I learned quickly that when Max picks his classes as an athlete, he gets first picks no matter what. I do not get that. And we had to deal with, we had to pick our classes, and then the practice time is tried to make it so that everyone can fit to either a morning or an afternoon group of practice. And half the time, guys are showing up and flip flops with 15 minutes left to go to practice, and they change real quick and then do the last 15 minutes. Like it's not quite as structured. And like I'll wake up, go to class, usually try and make it to my schedule. I can go to practice the whole time, and I'm usually done by around like 4 p.m. And it's a lot of work in on your own. And I think our coach wants that because we're only allowed 6 touches a week. So we'll have 3 practices a week, and then or 4 practices a week, 3 lifts a week, and then those overlap a little bit. And there's one day where he's like, get it in on your own, because he's not allowed to make us get it in, via NCAA rules, but very different, not as structured. There's not a whole lot of glory in D3 ball, so you kind of have to really want to be there and want to get better at it.
Yeah, so obviously it takes a lot of focus and attention to detail to play a college sport, but I want to hear about what was one funny moment, mid-game funny moment on the sideline or in the dugout that you guys would love to tell.
Max, you got this one? You want to go first?
I got a couple. There's one where it was my freshman year, and obviously Bijan was still on the team. Basically, running back Christ is on your team. And so the locker room in the football, like the college football environment, is a very crass environment. Like I still have not recovered from my vocabulary hasn't recovered. Like I go to work and I try not to drop F-bombs because of how that was just getting just annihilated by that. And Bijan comes off the field, and after a frustrating drive, and comes up to the offensive lineman. And it's the first time I realized this thing about him. He goes up to our offensive lineman. It's like, guys, what the freak is going on right now? We really need to pull our stuff together. I'm like, oh my God. Bijan doesn't curse at all. Like, this is so new to me. It was as if he was saying words worse than actual curse words because we were missing. And like, it was just unreal. And the other ones that are just like fun and funny stories are just when you get to like the Big 12 championship game. I'm on the offense and I know the offensive plays. I'm in the offensive install. And we had a play where Tavondre Sweat is in at tight end and pretends like he's blocking, peels off for a touchdown. And everyone just looks at each other as it's unfolding because he peels off. Nobody's looking at him because he's 370 pounds. And everyone looks at each other as just, no way. Everyone's screaming. And then he hit a Heisman pose on the sideline, on the field because he was, I don't know, 9th in the Heisman race at that point because he was having a monster season as a D lineman. Um, and those are like some of the fond memories I have because it's just all the fat guys getting together for a fat guy scoring a touchdown. So those are some of my favorite in-game stories for sure.
And I think one of my favorite stories was my sophomore year. We were playing this team called Edgewood, which, first of all, kind of funny name. And we had I was starting that game, and their pitcher goes out. He throws pretty well. I go out there for my first inning, and I throw like 2 consecutive balls, serve up a meaty fastball, and it gets smoked in the outfield. And I guess I was still, it was one of my first starts in my career. I was a bit rattled, and I went up there and I threw like 8 straight balls, and I walked the bases loaded. And my pitching coach calls time. And he said at the beginning of the season, he's like, look, anytime he calls time, he wants everybody, infielders, catchers, everyone to meet at the mound. We're going to game plan and figure out what we're going to do. But he says, if I wave you off and I just want to talk to the pitcher, he's pissed. He's pissed at the pitcher, and he's going to try and set him straight. And he waves off the infield, waves off the catcher, and just comes up to me. He doesn't say much other than he just holds his fingers out like this, and he goes, you see that? I go, yes, coach. He goes, your sphincter is about this big. He goes, if I were to straighten out a paperclip and try and put it in there, it wouldn't fit. And he's like, if you don't get your ass back on that mound and start throwing strikes, I was so shocked. Like, I didn't know what to say. And I think that was what he was trying to do, was like shock me into throwing strikes again, just to forget about the moment and just get up there and play baseball. And then he walked off. I went back up on the mound and walked the next guy and then got pulled. So it didn't really work. But
it was worth a shot.
Yeah.
That's the same thing Sark did to Bert.
Yeah, Sark did that to Bert
Sark
Auburn.
did it to my old roommate was Bert Auburn, our kicker. And it was the game-tying kick in the Alabama game at Texas. And he goes up to Bert and goes, Are you a tits or an ass man? And Bert is a sophomore walk-on kicker who has to tie the game against Alabama, like number two or something. Alabama, they might have been one. I don't even remember.
That was still
And
Saints, Alabama, right?
yeah, it was Saban's last year. And it was just an unreal environment. And he took his mind completely off of it. And it was like, Coach, I'm an ass man. Like, well, you got a girlfriend? It's like, yes, Coach, I've got a girlfriend. That ass is going to look better tonight than it has ever in your life if you make this kick. And he made the kick. We lost the game. I was like, oh my God. But it was an unreal story. He told that to me like later on. But that's the same. Every time he tells the sphincter story, it's the exact same deal. Betters are great, man.
Both
Yeah,
were 0 for 2 unsuccessful, but I like the idea.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and like another thing I feel like in sports is like the whole idea of like the pressure of the situation. Like, did you guys like at Sewanee and at Texas like have ways to like, handle that pressure just like by being funny, messing around? I know me and Jack would always be like, coming up with like really funny things in the dugout to, keep the vibes up and things like that. So I just want to hear your guys' stories on that idea.
My
Well,
version of this is boring,
you
so
go.
I think I should go first because you can't be like in game situations, you just can't be funny. We would have our offensive line coach would like all the walk-ons would like get together and like cheer and be kind of glue guys, culture guys, crowd guys because they're not playing. Sorry, not going in. 99.999% of them, me included, as a scholarship guy, I wasn't going in either. But I did not go over there because our offensive line coach, would literally like scream at us if we were over there. Is like you have to be paying attention to the game. Like, dude, you didn't even let me go into the game plan meetings. But I get you. I will be paying attention. And like even sometimes the walk-on offensive lineman would be just absolutely annihilated. So the stress of that, because it's just, these guys who get paid seven figures a year to coach football, there's no fun in this like environment. It's fun when you're winning and it's fun to like be there after the fact or anything, but like in a close game, there's nothing fun happening except for scoring a touchdown and like that's fun for a second, but then your defense is back on the field and they're getting driven downfield and you're like, all right, what are we doing right now? Like, is there something I need to do or is there whatever? So it's not, there's less stress release there. I'd say it's more outside of like games, like in locker rooms and stuff and just hang out with people, but that's kind of what we did.
Yeah, we're a little different.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
we do a lot of dumb stuff, like dumb stuff in the dugout, and it's probably one of my favorite parts about playing at my school is you know, I think I genuinely think that we are trying to make our own hitters laugh whenever they're like in the box, like trying to hit. Like we'll say whatever we can, and we whenever Gross was here, we had a whole dance for him. I think they gave us coffee one morning in Pensacola, like 3 gallons of it, and the whole team was drinking it the entire game. And I don't think there was a louder team in NCAA baseball than us. Just doing stupid dances or whatever dumb chant we come up with, it's always just a blast. A lot of times, not necessarily things we should be saying. I think we get warnings probably once every other game, and our coach always comes up to us and says, "Keep it on us," and then no one keeps it on us ever. Uh, but it's
Ever.
yeah, D3 ball. It's
That poor
funny.
bathroom
Yeah.
for that
Huh?
one game. That poor bathroom for that one game.
Oh man, we got into Coach was here for that. You remember when Ben Prather broke the bathroom? Oh my god.
Dude, yeah, man. Bro, dude, I was gonna say, I remember you brought I was gonna say another funny moment. I don't know if you remember this is like you got your new meta glasses when we
Oh
were
my
at Barry. And
yeah.
this was like a huge deal for Merrill and all of us because it was like the glasses that just came out with a video camera. And us and our friend Harry, who's on the podcast as well, like we were just like wearing these glasses and following Merrill around, just like just saying the most obnoxious and random things. And look, we won the series, man. Like we were what, seventh
Oh,
in the conference and beat the number two
yeah.
team and
Yeah.
made the conference tournament. So I mean that was a good time as well. But to kind of, segue from the funny moments as well, is like you were Max, you were at Texas when you went from the Big 12 to the SEC. Like, do you want to talk about that, like that talent change and also like that transition for the Texas program?
That was awesome. It was super fun to Look, when you're in the Big 12, and I'll still say this about the Big 12, it is the chaos conference. It's such a weird conference, and you could put, I think, like a lot of SEC teams in there, and they would struggle because there's just no consistency from week to week on opponent to opponent. You're playing Kansas, and then you're playing Oklahoma, and then you're back to like Kansas State, and then randomly you have to play Iowa State with like crazy defense, like the originator of the Joker D, and just stuff that's just it's an absurd, chaotic, weird conference. So I always have like respect for it. I hate every team in the Big 12 except for the new ones, just off of like just from being in it. I hate it because they all hated us. But then going to the SEC, it was more consistent, but each game was harder. So that you're not in those games going like, all right, we should beat these guys by 35. That doesn't really happen. Like you could play Mississippi State and you're like, all right, we should kind of kill these guys. But all the other games are really, if you fall asleep at the wheel for even half a quarter, you could be down by 2 touchdowns.
The
And
U
that's
of
hard
H
for,
game.
yeah, the U of H game was a Big 12 game. That was ridiculous. But yeah, the first season in the SEC was awesome because we played all these awesome games. Like it was immediately like historic game, historic game, historic game, historic game. It's Georgia, it's Alabama, it's I think we put I forget if we played Alabama preseason the first year we went to the SEC or was it the year after the year before, but like all those really cool games that you get to go to and be on the sideline for and you get to see like SEC football is the best in the country for a reason. Like everyone's so good and everyone's so competitive. The conference kind of cannibalizes itself half the time, I feel like. Like last year I felt that we kind of got cannibalized in there. I think we might have been top two SEC teams and we just couldn't beat Florida because we fell asleep at the wheel for a week. And then my delusion is that we were the Indiana stopper, but that's delusion a little bit. The Mendoza guy's pretty good. But yeah, no, it was a really good time and joining that conference it was a cooler conference championship, a cooler everything because it just has that SEC aura for football, which is insane.
On that note, can you talk about your experience making the playoffs and what that whole journey was like?
It was very interesting. Making the playoffs is a whole different deal because the first year we did it, um, it was a 14 playoff, so it's like you're there already. Everything's there. We just won the Big 12 championship against Oklahoma State, which was awesome. It was probably my favorite game that I've ever been to. Um, and then we go to play Washington, who we just lost to the year before in the Alamo Bowl, which was brutal. And then you get back, you have the most time to prepare, so you go into like another fall camp, but like a winter version that's much nicer to you. Like I can't even compare the two. But they know where you are. You're on Christmas break. They don't want you around just running around, running wild in Austin because it's Austin. You can still do that even though it's Christmas break. It's not, Sewanee or like other towns where it's just like the college in the town. It's an entire city. So you're kind of locked down for a while and there's really chill practices and then randomly it's like ones and twos aren't even playing this practice. Like it's like threes and fours activities or like ones aren't playing, and twos need reps just in case one's guys goes down and then guys need to get healthy and stuff. It turns into a whole different game. And then for us, what we did is we immediately, as soon as game time came back around, we went straight back to regular season practice schedule. Like we did everything the exact same, but we were in uh New Orleans or we were in Atlanta or Dallas or whatever. We're at a facility doing the exact same practice. Like for the Alamo Bowl, we were in San Antonio, as we did the same thing for it, and we full pads practice Christmas Day. Like it was brutal and I hated it, but it's what was happening. So like that's always the like mantra for it. And also the nice part is you get like a whole new Texas wardrobe. I've got like 3 Nike Techs from
Yeah.
from these playoff games. So they kind of pimp you out and everyone gets excited because you get a bunch of new gear, you get new bags, new everything. Jack has like 2 Texas duffel bags out of the
They're
8 that
great.
I have. So it's definitely like the experience and the bowl experience is definitely better. You get bowl sweet gifts. You are kind of the big time event and it's all the craziest part about it is just seeing all of your friends talked about on national sports media as like the main event. So that was a very weird like people talking about Texas offensive line on national media. Not that common, especially to name guys. Like the offensive line just doesn't get stuff like that. So it was that's like the coolest part about it. But again, the whole thing is cool. Like it's something that you watch on TV as a kid and even an adult now. I'm like, that's so awesome. It's the coolest, in my opinion, it's the coolest thing in sports, the college football playoff, because I just love college football.
And then what is your opinion on the new like 12 team playoff? Are you for it? Has it created problems you've seen? Like what's your, you've seen it with the 4-man playoff and now the 12. Like what's your opinion on that as well?
I love more teams being in it. I think I don't want it to go past like 16. I would say I think 16 is the maximum because your body is not treated well in college football. Like in the NFL, guys are after fall camp, these guys are just like expected to keep themselves right. And full pads practice isn't that big of a deal. I mean, it isn't that big of a thing. But college football is very physical the entire time. Like guys, it doesn't matter how old they are. Like I was with 20, I think it was like a 25-year-old when I was a freshman, and he's doing the same thing, and he was like an old man basically because he's been doing it for so long. Like his knees and his back, it just wasn't good. Uh, but yeah, the season can't be as long as the NFL season, I don't think, because kids are gonna get hurt, guys are gonna get hurt, and it's just not gonna be good for anybody. But that 16 team thing is great, especially in lieu of the Notre Dame special rule,
Oh,
which
don't get me started on the Notre Dame rule.
it's I think it's like the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like the cupcake schedule uh plus not being in a conference even though you're in a conference for everything else. And like I don't care about the history of Notre Dame. It hasn't been extremely relevant in 15 years of like college football playoff. So
Yeah,
I
I was gonna say, luckily you guys didn't play Tulane this year. I think they would have your number, but that's just my opinion. So, Jack, do you want to talk about from when I was there freshman year to now? You guys seen an incredible amount of success, more so than what was there 3 years ago. Like, do you want to talk about the changes you've seen and like what you have done personally, like becoming an upperclassman and a leader of the team that has helped your team succeed? More so than it did like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was 2 years before we got there. Our team was what 5-35 on the season.
Yeah, something like that, man.
Yeah, they talked about that season like it was a fever dream. Like it didn't seem real. And I will give kudos to my head coach for sure, Nate Burns. He's a very good recruiter, and I've seen from every class below me has been better than mine, and every class above me is a little bit worse than mine. Like they just keep getting better every single year, and he's done a really good job of that. I think the way you get people to play well at Sewanee is to get them to like the school. It's a weird school, and you have to kind of buy into it a little bit. And there's some captains, there's some people, there are some upperclassmen seniors that are really going to try and make sure these people are like all about baseball, all about this, all about that. I really want to make sure that the freshmen that are coming in, like this past year and this incoming year, that they understand and have fun at the school and enjoy the school. Because when you enjoy the school, you love the baseball, and when you're loving the baseball, you usually play a little bit better too. So I think like the biggest thing in terms of our success has been the recruiting classes. There's so much talent coming in every year, and then getting kids to buy into the school, not just the program. It makes it a way more fun environment and way more enjoyable of a season. That's for sure.
A big challenge with being a college athlete is just all the time and commitment you have to put towards your sport. Max, you were a 3-time member of the Big 12 Commissioners Honor Roll.
He was?
Yes, I was. Yes.
Yeah. So could you guys both? Yeah. Could you all both talk about kind of how you were able to keep your academics up and keep building network while being a college athlete to getting the jobs to where you are now?
Yeah, Jack. There's an SEC academic honor roll on this wall over here too, Jack. Don't you forget that.
All right.
I'm in there. It was hard. Mine was unique because Texas, if you have any regular degree that they've dealt with a lot, you have every tutor you could imagine to help you through the homework.
Those tutors don't just tutor you; they pretty much do your homework.
Here's what I'll say about the tutors: they don't do your homework. They don't. As much as everyone says that they do not. But they're going to help you with your homework, and they're going to teach it to you. And sometimes teaching it is like, hey, this is how you do this problem. And they're like, all right, walk me through the next one. I don't think that's illegal. I think it's just how somebody gets help with their homework. But these guys aren't. Some of them aren't that great at it. And also, like the Cardell Jones quote of the century of "I didn't come here to play school." Like it's a very true mindset with a lot of, like especially at Texas. I very much came there to school and less so to play, so it was easier for me. And I did an MIS degree, Management Information Systems, which is a computer forward business degree that one guy on the team did before me, and he was a walk-on, and he was also a super genius. So I couldn't like really do anything about that. Um, but I had to just kind of do it all my own. I had to do all my classes on my own, which is what made it really hard. And so I had some classes where I just totally slipped and dropped the ball. I had terrible grades and an autism on the spectrum class that was just something I had to do homework for and turn it in. But I'd be so tired and forget and do all these because of my other classes that I was doing. But I always try to keep focus on like my actual degree and try and have a good GPA within my degree. And if I could go back, I'd probably do the 20 minutes of work a week that autism on the spectrum required. Uh, but yeah, it was really important to me that I actually got something out of my degree because I knew pretty much from end of semester one that I wasn't going to be an NFL player. So I was like, all right, we got to enjoy this while it lasts, being here for the culture, be a real glue guy. And if they need me, they need me. But really, I got to focus on school here.
Yeah, well, I think, for baseball, at least college baseball, the time commitment is still a lot. It might not be like fall camp levels where he's doing 18 hours a day, getting moved out of his dorm into a hotel near the stadium for 2 weeks. Like we don't have that kind of schedule, but, uh, you know, sometimes baseball practices can be very, very long. And it's very routine that a Saturday morning practice will go from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. or 4:30. You're pretty much there from sun up till sundown. And it's tough if you're in hard classes, it's kind of tough to stay on top of that. A lot of it just comes from being stubborn and being like, all right, I told myself I was going to get this done today. I'm not leaving the library until I get that done. Sucks. You're there till like 2, 3 in the morning sometimes. And half of that time is spent scrolling reels and shooting the shit with whoever you're studying with. But, um, it's not necessarily like I have a very regimented schedule that I follow every single time. It's just like, I got to get this done. I'm too stubborn to not get it done because I told myself that I would. And that's kind of the biggest really part of it is it takes time, but just got to get it out of the way.
So, as the viewers know, as of now, you guys are both great athletes. But what they don't know is you both have one, you have a sick internship out in Houston, Jack, and then Max, you have a job that you start tomorrow. So I want to talk about how you guys leverage your athletic career to get you to that position of understanding that you're not only here for athletics, but you're here to one, do something you love, but also take it serious and take the academics serious to get you that job and that next step for your future.
Jay, can we get this one first?
Yeah, I can go first. So I feel like college ball has like this kind of community fraternity within it, whereas like if you played, you can easily just talk to someone about it, and you can talk to them for hours because everyone's got a million stories from whenever they played about some ridiculous call or some hilarious thing that happened. Gross has got a million just from one year.
Yeah,
So,
sure do, man.
yeah. And so it was kind of just like, for me, I found a couple of people that played college ball or played in the minors or something at different companies. And I would just shoot them a call and be like, hey, I'm a college baseball player here. If you have time to chat for 15, 20 minutes, let me know. And, it's you realize quickly that you can't just send in an application and hope for the best without ever talking to anyone beforehand. And I had some people help me figure out who to talk to, how to like go about those conversations with those people. And then, the day comes to shoot in that application and you just hope for that return call. And I remember it's a pretty stressful time. Like that junior fall was rough because it was just rejection after rejection after rejection. I think I applied to like 28 I got first round interviews at 3, and then second round interviews at 2, and an internship offer from 1. So it was like it's a lot of rejection, and you just kind of have to get used to it. You're going to send out 100 emails in a day and get no responses, but you just got to keep on going. It sucks. It's like the worst. It's like the worst thing ever. But as soon as you get through it, my God, the weight off your shoulders is ridiculous.
Yeah, I was gonna say, kind of to touch on that a little bit was, I don't think, because resumes are read by less people every year, it becomes harder. Like for me, I had one internship for all 4 years of college because it just was so difficult. I had to find an internship that was in like a finance sector or MIS or whatever that needed me to be, that could allowed me to be there for half of the days and sometimes none of the day, or work entirely remote. It was a very niche, super hard ask for basically any major company. So I got one internship because I cold LinkedIn DM'd the CEO of this company because they were at an athlete only career fair, and I got an internship that way, and it was good. It was just a weird experience, and so then finding jobs became a little bit tough because if people aren't reading your resume, I'm not really sure how much they're baking in the term student athlete, football, Texas. That's not really on their deal. I think that they're probably shooting for these like Big Four internships and other kind of key phrases that are getting put into these kind of resume readers and things. And sometimes people don't understand the value of being a student athlete. Like there's a lot of people who didn't get a lot of value from sports as a kid, which is totally fine, and didn't get value from it as an adult or a teenager because they weren't playing it and didn't follow it. And so you're kind of rolling the dice with all these different people, and it became a little bit harder. So what Jack said, like getting in front of people and being like, I had a job for 4 years, the entire time through college. Like this is not, for like the quote I always do is like I worked for $1 billion organization for 4 years, and I was close with the CEO and and the other C-suite guys. They yelled at me all day. So, like that's kind of the way that I phrase it and stuff. So getting FaceTime to really explain to people like what it entails, because if you're on the inside, like it's ridiculous to the amount of work that's required to play sports in college. My girlfriend rode at Wisconsin. She is the exact same way. Like it's an extreme time commitment, but it's become harder to just immediately ride that into a really awesome job. Like I had to talk to people, I had to explain what I was, what I'm good at, and also explain the fact that I'm not used to being in an office. So like I'm going into my first real job where I actually work the whole day because I was playing football the whole other time. So it's all interesting, and you got to just explain people like what gifts and talents you got from working all the time with sports and the weird hierarchy that comes with it, the weird politics, the weird schedule, the weird workload. So
Yeah, and one of my final questions I want to ask both of you, targeted towards Max a little more because at D3 schools, I feel like there's more options for, building a career. Like you're in a great fellowship, Jack, I believe, right?
Was.
Was. Okay. But I mean, you still have a phenomenal job. So I mean, you still network through that. But what we're trying to build here at the second half is the idea that these college athletes spend a certain amount of time on the field and don't really have a time to build a career outside the field. Like, do you think you would benefit Max from like a mentor, somebody that, like maybe once a semester you would text or call about business questions and kind of get, current players familiar with the idea that there is life after sports and you should be focused on that, probably around junior, senior year before essentially the ball stops dribbling.
yeah, that's I think essential. Me and Jack have a very successful mom. So that was the person that I had for that. So it was like integral part in finding work after college sports. And she's also she's very pragmatic. So she is always kind of the voice of reason in the back of your head. She's always wants to tell you what's statistically most likely to happen, so prepare for that. She didn't when I got my first college offer, she was like, "You got your first what?" I had no expectations of it because she knew it was like 1% of people do this, and she's not totally familiar with football, so she didn't know if I was that good or that anything.
You want to tell them about the bet?
Oh yeah. Eighth grade year, I told my mom if she didn't have to pay for college because I played college football, she'd have to give me a year of tuition. And then I reminded her about that, and she said, "Oh shit," which was not when she was really cussing around us a lot. So it was kind of burned into my mind. And my first offer was Dartmouth, so it would have been $70,000, which I don't think would have actually flown. But then it ended up being Texas, and like I said, she's done pretty well for herself. So she gave me that year of tuition. Again, saved that instantly because I had her kind of mentorship, which is again valuable in that way. But yeah, I think it's completely lost because you don't have time for career fairs. You don't have time for all of these things. And if you do somehow have time for it, I'm like limping back from practice, and like all these things. There's to have extra help where it can be kind of on a different schedule than everybody else, and also help with networking and just career advice is like integral to, I think, a lot of people finding success on an average basis.
Yeah, I got a pretty serious question. Who would win in a fight between y'all?
Oh, Lord.
Jack's never even been on the
Uh,
radar for this
there's been
conversation.
plenty of times where I've gotten my ass handed to me by this fellow right here. I mean, it's not
It was a
unfortunately.
different sports we
Yeah.
chose to play. He chose a much less weight room intense sport. I tried to get him to play football. I think I
Yeah.
could have had him in the Ivy League playing football
Yeah,
because
but then my freshman year, I showed up like, oh, it's Max's little brother. Like, put him on the A team. He's good. And I'm facing some dude who's got like a kid playing for something real. I'm like, oh shit! Like, I'm getting
yeah, it was a
he's,
good time.
he's fully downhill, like balls on the other side of the field. I'm like left tackle. They ran into the right side, and he's just getting full head of steam downhill into my brain. I'm like, dude, this sport sucks. It's terrible.
I will say Jack got me in height, and so then I was like, "You're never gonna get me in the weight room as long as I'm living." So I have like short man syndrome at like 6'5", which is a weird and evil place to be. It's
Yeah, me and you both. I'm down here at 5'11", man. I feel
yeah,
that. I feel
yeah.
that.
I go and hang out with him and my dad, who are both 6'7", and I get called short, and I'm like, this doesn't happen to me anywhere else. This is a bad thing you guys are doing to me. So I consider it evil. It's like unique for sure, but there's no
No,
chance. He's got no
Max is
chance.
beating me in a fight. I think there was one time where I think I probably got my ass handed to me the most, and it was this was the story I'm about to tell. So we used to like have friends over, and we would play like Monopoly and Catan like all day, like 6 or 8 hours of board games on like Sundays. And like I didn't really want to play one day, and they were over, and they were like, "Jack, come on, like just play one game of Monopoly, one game, let's go, one
Jack
game."
was
And I was like,
consistently last, by the way.
all right, that's not true. But one game, and I was like eating like a sliced up apple, and I was like, "All right, Max, I'll play one game if you close your eyes and just let me feed you one apple. That's it. Just let me feed you one apple. That's all I'm going to do." And he was like, he knew something was up, but he wanted to play Monopoly, so he eventually said yes. So he closed his eyes. He opens his mouth. I put the apple in there, and I just slap him in the face like as hard as I can and run away. And I was pretty fat and chubby, and he was a lot more athletic than me at the time. So he caught up to me pretty quick and slammed me against the wall and just like held me there and just kept on like bumming his shoulder. And I couldn't breathe for like 2 minutes afterwards.
We were like 12 and 10, by the way. It's not like it was like life or death for anybody. There was no
No,
real
it was
force
life or
behind
death for
us.
me that day. I felt like
It was.
I felt like
I still can't believe that I trusted him in that moment.
I mean, you knew something was up,
I know,
but
but I didn't think you were as nefarious as you really were, which was a really bad ball decision on my part.
yeah, that was pretty stupid.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time, guys. It was awesome. And Max, we wish you the best in your career, man. It seems like you're gonna kill it. And Jack Merrill, keep pitching the ball,
Yeah, you're
man.
good.
Keep doing it.
Yeah.
One more year.
Yeah,
Make the
one
most.
more, bro.